All right, well, we're going to take a look at our news focus, but in the meantime, keep sending in your messages and greetings. We have 5 cooling sports gels for you today, so send in the quiz answer as well. 자, 그러면 첫 번째 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. 세계 주요 도시들이 온실가스 배출량이나 미세먼지 등을 줄이기 위해 여러 가지 규제를 만들고 있는데요. 미국 뉴욕시는 온실가스 배출량을 줄이기 위해 외벽이 유리로 된 고층 건물 신축을 금지하는 강력한 법안을 발의할 예정입니다. Let's listen to the story.
The construction of glass skyscrapers could be banned in New York as part of a bid to cut greenhouse emissions by 30%. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said all glass facade skyscrapers are incredibly inefficient because so much energy escapes through the glass. In addition to banning new glass buildings, existing glass buildings would have to be retrofitted to meet new, stricter carbon emissions guidelines. Some experts have said the glass and steel ban had blindsided the industry.
네, 이번 조치에 따르면은 신축은 이제 금지가 되는데 기존 건물들이 있잖아요. 뉴욕에 이미 유리 외벽이 있는 건물들. 그 건물도 2030년까지 리모델링을 안 하면 벌금을 물게 된다고 합니다. Did you see a lot of these glass skyscrapers?
Yes, indeed. Now, it has to be said, there are a lot of historic stone and brick buildings in New York as well, but certainly a lot of these very glass and steel skyscrapers. And they look magnificent, but you can certainly see how they would be maybe not so efficient in terms of energy, heating, cooling, and maintaining their heating and cooling as well.
Right. Well, I think our first expression has something to do with the appearance of these skyscrapers, right?
It does. I think we'll look at that word facade, which comes from French. It is a French word, actually, but is used in English. Facade, F-A-C-A-D-E. In an architectural sense, it is literally the front of a building, but especially when that front of the building has been sort of constructed or done up in a special way. We can also use facade, though, to talk about people. And if people put on sort of a false front,
right.
Hiding their true emotions, we can say they are putting on or putting up a facade. If you're really mad inside, but if you're acting maybe happy on the outside, we can say you're putting on a happy facade.
아하, 건물의 경우에는 facade는 건물 정면, 앞면을 뜻하지만 사람한테 겉모습은 이런데 속은 좀 다르다라는 의미로 facade를 쓸 수 있습니다. 그래서 put on a facade라고 표현을 하는데요. You could put on a, do you put the word before the facade? Put on
a false facade, a happy facade,
okay.
Whatever it may be, yes.
네, 그런 식으로 facade를 쓸 수 있습니다. 그러니까 나쁜 경우에도 종종 써요. He's a really mean guy, but he's putting on a friendly facade. 뭐 이렇게 얘기를 할 수 있습니다.
Right. Sure, exactly like that.
자, 그 다음 표현으로 한번 넘어가 볼게요. In addition to banning new glass buildings, existing ones will have to be retrofitted.
So we'll look at that word retrofit. Now that's one word, retrofit. And I think the word retro is somewhat popular in Korea these days. And so our listeners may have an idea or a feeling of what that means. It's sort of going back to the past. Now when we talk about retrofit or retrofitting, we're talking about adding something, a component, an accessory, any type of thing to any other thing, could be a building, could be a car, that it did not have when it was originally manufactured. So we're talking about adding something that wasn't there originally.
네. 원래 없었지만 나중에 장착하는 거를 retrofit 한다, 새로 장착하다라는 의미고요. 그냥 번역된 기사를 보면은 그냥 리모델링 한다 이렇게 표현을 했는데 그런 의미가 들어 있습니다. Some experts, though, have said the glass and steel ban had blindsided the industry.
So when we talk about someone or something, in this case an industry, being blindsided, it's essentially meaning that they're being surprised. So to be blindsided means to be surprised, usually with something, of course, that was unexpected and also that may be sort of damaging or have some harmful results. We often hear of attacks being launched by surprise. That, of course, could be also described as a blindside attack.
blindside가 동사로 쓰였을 경우에는 상대방이 모르는 상태에서 그러니까 기습 공격을 하는 그런 느낌이에요. 근데 여기서는 industry 얘기가 나옵니다. 그래서 이번에 이제 skyscrapers 유리 외벽으로 된 건물들을 신축이 금지되고 뭐 이제 앞으로 또 리모델링을 해야 된다라는 이런 조치들이 이 분야, 이 산업에 있어서는 좀 기습 뭐 공격처럼 받아들여질 수 있다라는 그런 의미가 될 것 같아요.
Yeah, nobody was really expecting this. So anytime something happens that nobody is expecting, you can say, oh, I was completely blindsided by the news.
Right. 이게 축구에서도 쓰이는 용어 같아요. American football, I think, uses this. 그래서 그 Sandra Bullock
There was certainly a movie with that title. Exactly right.
있었죠. 굉장히 좋은 영화였는데요. 자, 뉴욕 소식을 우리 첫 번째 뉴스 포커스로 살펴봤습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
The construction of glass skyscrapers could be banned in New York as part of a bid to cut greenhouse emissions by 30%. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said all glass facade skyscrapers are incredibly inefficient because so much energy escapes through the glass. In addition to banning new glass buildings, existing glass buildings would have to be retrofitted to meet new, stricter carbon emissions guidelines. Some experts have said the glass and steel ban had blindsided the industry.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 어제가 유네스코가 지정한 세계 책의 날이었는데요. 미국 아이비리그 명문 중 하나인 예일대학교 학생들이 교내 도서관에서 사라질 위기에 처한 종이책 지키기에 나섰습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Earlier this year, the top librarian at an acclaimed Ivy League school proposed the relocation of thousands of books to make space for additional seating. Declining circulation and increases in student body size were said to justify the plan. In response, nearly 1,000 students registered to participate in a browse-in, vowing to borrow everything from Shakespeare to Dr. Seuss to show university administrators that people still value the printed word. For its part, the school made adjustments to the plan to accommodate the students' concerns.
네, 예일대 도서관은요, 지난 1월 도서관에서 이제 책이 차지하는 공간도 많고, 대출하는 뭐 숫자도 많이 줄어들고, 이러니 요즘에 이제 프린트 시대는 아니고, 거의 다 뭐 컴퓨터로 올리는 시대니까, 이 책을 다 그렇게 스크린으로 옮기자. 뭐 그런 얘기가 나왔습니다. 학생들이 다 동의할 줄 알았는데, 또 의외로 학생들이, 싫다. 종이로 된 책이 좋다라고 하면서, 뭐, browse-in 얘기를 좀 해주셨어요. 뭐, 책 훑어보기 캠페인을 벌이고 있다라는 내용입니다. 한번 살펴볼게요. This is at the acclaimed Ivy League school, Yale.
It is, yes, indeed. And while I visited Harvard, of course, while I was in New York, got a chance to see Harvard, this story is about the acclaimed school Yale. So we'll look at that word acclaimed. If something, a person or an industry or a school, is described as being acclaimed, that means they are written about or talked about in a very positive, very admiring way. We often hear this word most often used with plays or books or concerts. We might hear something like, the play opened to much acclaim.
아하, acclaim이라는 게 여기서는 이제 prestigious랑 같은 의미로 쓰였습니다. 그러니까 명문대라는 뜻으로 쓰였지만 too much acclaim, 뭐 to a lot of acclaim. 그래서 어떻게 뭐 아주 좋은 반응으로 뭐가 열렸다, 시작이 됐다라고 할 때도 acclaim이라는 단어를 쓸 수 있습니다. All right, and of course the relocation of these books does not seem to be such a good idea for the students. Declining circulation and increases in student body size were said to justify the plan.
Yeah, those were the reasons that the librarian gave for drafting this policy to justify the plan. So if you justify something, then you are giving reasons for why you're doing that thing. And we often have an expression in English, not always a good meaning, however, but we have an expression, the ends justify the means.
아하, 합리화 또는 정당화를 뜻하는 justify인데요. 여기서는 왜 이런 아이디어가 나왔는지 그걸 설명하기 위해서 justify라는 표현이 쓰였습니다. 근데 우리말로 해석하면 좀 이상하긴 해요. 뭐 이러이러한 이유로 이게 합리화가 됐다라고 하면 좀 뉘앙스가 이상하지만 그냥 이러한 이유에 그러니까 여기서 나오는 이유가 그거예요. 뭐 대출이
reason.
줄고
Sure.
네, 그다음에는 increases in student bodies. 그 학생 수는 늘어나고 이러기 때문에 그런 이유로 이제 전반적으로 도서를 디지털화 하려고 했다라는 거고요. 아까 그 표현해 주신 그 the ends justify the means 이거는 이제 수거인데
Yeah.
결과가 어떤 그 수단을 합리화한다라는 뜻이에요. 근데 조심해서 쓰셔야 되긴 합니다.
Yeah, that expression is sometimes used to justify means which maybe are not so good. So we're saying the result, if it's a good result, then it doesn't matter how we or what we did to get to that good result. And sometimes maybe if people did something unfavorable to get to that result, then
Right.
that expression is used. The ends justify the means.
뭐로 가도 서울만 가면 된다라는 표현이 있어요. It's very similar.
Yeah, I think so.
Whichever way you go to
Yeah.
Seoul, as long as you get there, you're good. Anyhow, browse in is the next expression.
Browse in. Now, that is not a common expression itself, but it comes from a common expression. The common expression from which it comes is sit in. Now, a sit in, I don't know if people are still doing this, but back in the 50s and the 60s and maybe even the 70s over in North America, if people wanted to protest something, they would have these sit-ins where they would literally go to a place, maybe a government office, maybe a bank, maybe a park, and they would just go and sit down
Right.
as a form of protest, but they would not leave. That's the key. And so that's a sit-in. Here we're having this expression browse in, meaning that a lot of the students were going to go to the library who wouldn't maybe normally go and browse through the books just to show their support.
네, 여기서 browse in 하고 그다음에 보면 quotation이 있어요. 이게 왜 이렇게 쓰였냐면은 sit in, 연좌 농성의 그 표현을 조금 변경을 했기 때문에 이렇게 부른 겁니다. 그러니까 농성, 일종의 그런 시위의 느낌이 있지만 뭘 하는 거냐면 책을 보는 거예요. 그래서 browse라는 단어를 여기 쓴 겁니다.
And I think way back when John Lennon and Yoko Ono had what was called a love-in, where they just stayed in bed trying to say that that's the best way to overcome war and to protest for peace. So we have sit-in, love-in, browse-in. Theoretically, you could say almost anything in, but the most common is sit-in.
그 디지털 세대인 대학생들도 전자화면을 보는 것보다는 이렇게 인쇄된 책을 읽을 때 더 깊은 사유가 가능하다고 말하는 것이 굉장히 인상적인 것 같아요. Well, we'll listen to this story one more time.
Earlier this year, the top librarian at an acclaimed Ivy League school proposed the relocation of thousands of books to make space for additional seating. Declining circulation and increases in student body size were said to justify the plan. In response, nearly 1,000 students registered to participate in a browse-in, vowing to borrow everything from Shakespeare to Dr. Seuss to show university administrators that people still value the printed word. For its part, the school made adjustments to the plan to accommodate the students' concerns.
Now let's remind our listeners of today's quiz.
In today's quiz, one of the answers hurts and one of them tastes delicious. What are they? Well, a substance that is injected into your body to protect it from certain diseases is known as blank. Is it number 1, vaccine, ouch, or number 2, poutine? Yummy.
Yummy. 네, 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원의 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 1부에선 추첨을 통해 총 5분께 쿨링 스포츠 젤 보내드릴게요. We'll be back after a song. This is The Sign by Trombo Combo. 자, 세 번째 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. 우크라이나에서 큰 인기를 끌었던 드라마 국민의 일꾼 Servant of the People. 이 드라마에서 대통령을 연기한 블로디미르 젤렌스키가 진짜 우크라이나의 신임 대통령으로 당선됐습니다. 과연 대통령 젤렌스키는 어떤 리더십을 보여줄까요? Let's listen to the story.
The actor who portrayed Ukraine's president has landed the job in real life. becoming the president of this large country nestled between Russia and Europe. 41-year-old Vladimir Zelensky garnered about 73% of the vote, far ahead of incumbent President Petro Poroshenko. While lacking firm political experience, Zelensky did major in law and supported political movements in 2013. One of the new president's most pressing matters will be to fight corruption and poverty in Ukraine.
네, 극중 대통령에서 실제 대통령이 된 젤렌스키에 대한 내용입니다. Lots of things to look at here to put things into perspective. The country itself is one of the poorest in Europe. The people have not been very happy about that at all. And that was evident in the votes.
Yeah, it was. We've sort of been following now President or President-elect Zelensky's progress. I know we've touched on his progress when he was a candidate in the runoff elections and now obviously the final results as well.
네. 자, 일단 보면서 내용도 살펴보도록 하겠습니다. The president, the actor who portrayed the president has landed the job.
Yes, he has indeed. To land something means really just to get it. Now, that something in which you are landing is very often a job. So we often use it in that way, meaning to succeed in getting the job, but it's not always a job. You can, if you're an actor, you can land a role. And if you're a fisherman or fisherwoman or fisher person or someone who fishes, you can land a big fish. So imagine you're out there fishing in the deep blue sea and you catch a very big fish and it takes you maybe 2 hours to land that fish. It means just to get it.
land a job 그러면 어떤 직장을 구하다라는 뜻입니다. 여기서는 물론 그냥 직장이 아니고요. 이제 대통령직을 말하는 것이지만 그런 식으로 land a job, land the job 이렇게 표현을 할 수 있겠습니다. And he's become the president of the large country nestled between Russia and Europe.
So the word nestled has a meaning that sort of implies hidden or obscured in the position. I'm not sure if it exactly fits a country in this case, especially one as large as Ukraine, about 6 times larger than South Korea. But I use the word maybe because maybe not everyone's familiar with where exactly Ukraine is situated.
Sure.
A better example sentence might be something like this. We could say the B&B, the bed and breakfast, was nestled in a lovely forest.
보통 이제 굉장히 포근하게 어디에 들어가 있다라는 뜻의 nestle인데요. 여기서는 지리적인 위치를 얘기합니다. 그래서 러시아와 유럽 사이에 있다. 발음도요. nestle이 아니고 nestle 발음한다는 것도 주의하시면 되겠고요. 이 지리적인 거를 보면서 이제 러시아와 유럽 그리고 이제 우크라이나가 또 앞으로 어떤 관계를 유지할지가 주목되는 부분인데요. 러시아와의 관계에 있어서 이제 젤렌스키 역할이 굉장히 중요할 것 같아요. 앞으로 푸틴 대통령과 좀 적극적으로 협상에 나서야 이제 친러시아 분리자들이 그 장악한 우크라이나 동부 내전을 끝낼 수 있다고 하거든요. 그래서 이제 러시아와의 관계가 굉장히 중요할 것이고 그거를 국민들은 많이 기대하고 있습니다. 그 다음에는 이제 유럽에 관해서는 젤렌스키는 대선 과정에서도 이렇게 얘기를 했어요. 유럽 연합 그리고 NATO, 우리 이제 나토라고 하는데 나토 가입을 지지한다. 최대한 그렇게 되도록 하겠다라는 입장을 밝혔습니다. 그동안에는 잘 이루어지지 못했던 부분인데요. 네, 그 부분들도 다 공약에 들어있었고 73%라는 엄청난 지지율을 받았기 때문에 그만큼 국민들이 여기에 이제 좀 무게를 두고 많이 기대하고 있는 것 같아요. 그 73% 얘기도 garner라는 단어로 표현이 돼 있네요.
Yes, indeed. The President-elect Zelensky garnered about 73% of the vote. So when we talk about garnering something, we're talking about gathering it, collecting it, or even just getting it in a different way, very often used for things that are seeking approval or types of information. Another example sentence that I could think of, we might hear or say that the police struggled to garner sufficient evidence to convict the alleged criminal.
모으다라는 뜻의 garner입니다. 근데 gather보다는 여기서는 garner가 좀 더 적절할 것 같아요. There's a bit of a nuance difference.
Yeah, I think if you're garnering something, it's maybe more of that something rather than just gathering it. Gathering could be a little of something or even a lot.
그리고 gather 그러면 뭔가 좀 이렇게 눈에 보이는 가시적인 게 좀 떠오르는 것 같아요.
Might be more an actual things. Yes, that's right.
근데 여기서는 이제 73%의 득표율을 모았다라는 식으로 표현을 했어요. And this was far ahead of the incumbent president.
Now, incumbent is a word that actually I think we had it coming up in our headline discussions because we were talking about presidential elections there as well. The incumbent is a person who currently holds a position. Now, that could be any position, but we very often hear that term used in politics. So the incumbent mayor, the incumbent president, the incumbent governor, the incumbent senator,
Right.
whoever that person may be.
네, 재임 중이다라는 뜻의 incumbent를 쓸 수 있겠습니다. And one of the new president's most pressing matters will be to fight corruption and poverty.
So if we describe a matter or a thing as being pressing, that means it's really urgent and it requires immediate attention or action. So if somebody gives you something to do and they say, Sue, can you do this? And you can say, well, is it pressing? And they'll say, no, actually, it can wait until next week.
Then no, I can't help you. It's a pressing matter. 그러면은 정말 급한 사안이다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 누르는 거랑은 아무 상관이 없고요. 그러니까 경제적인 문제가 그동안 제일 많이 국민들이 체감하는 부분이 아니었을까 싶기도 해요. 경제적으로 우크라이나 국민의 60%가 최저 생계를 보장받지 못하고 있다고 합니다. 그리고 또 러시아의 영향을 많이 받고 있어요. 크림반도가 이제 러시아가 병합한 건데 크림반도를 우크라이나는 또 반환받기를 또 기대하고 있고 미국과의 관계, 또 러시아의 관계 여러 가지 지금 좀 복잡한 관계들이 있는데 이걸 다 국민의 종을 연기한 젤렌스키 대통령이 풀어주기를 기대하고 있는 것 같습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
The actor who portrayed Ukraine's president has landed the job in real life, becoming the president of this large country nestled between Russia and Europe. 41-year-old Vladimir Zelensky garnered about 73% of the vote, far ahead of incumbent President Petro Poroshenko. While lacking firm political experience, Zelensky did major in law and supported political movements in 2013. One of the new president's most pressing matters will be to fight corruption and poverty in Ukraine.
All right, and what's the answer to the quiz today?
Well, if you're getting something injected into your body to protect it from certain diseases, that cannot be poutine. You don't inject poutine, you ingest it. But the answer here, of course, number one, vaccine, you inject a vaccine.
Absolutely. 1번 정답입니다. Congratulations. 정두연님, 연기원님, 끝번호 7262 쓰시는 분, 8002 쓰시는 분과 8809 쓰시는 분 모두 축하드립니다. 쿨링 스포츠 젤 보내드릴게요. 이지은이요라는 아이디 쓰시는 분이 평소 모닝콜로 모닝 스페셜 습관처럼 듣는데 늦잠 자던 우리 7살 아들이 월터 아저씨다 하면서 반갑게 깜짝 놀라서 일어났어요. 선생님, 특유의 웃음소리가 저도 오랜만에 들으니 너무 반가워요.
Well, as I said at the start of the show, it's great to be back, and I feel a very warm welcome from everybody here as well as the listeners. So thank you, everybody, for your very kind messages.
All right. Well, it's that time of the day. What is today's expression?
I think we'll have to go with the ends justify the means. That's an expression that any one of our listeners can use when they want to say that maybe what they did to get somewhere or to do something wasn't perfect, but at least they got there. So if you're going out and buying coffee, but maybe you take a long time to get it because you drop one or you spill something, but at least you came back with that coffee, you can say the ends justify the means.
The ends justify the means. 그러면은 뭐로 가도 서울로 가면 된다라는 뜻이고요. 반대로도 쓸 수 있어요. The means justify the end. 그러면은 그때는 결과가 뭐든지 상관없다. 열심히 노력만 했으면 된다라는 반대의 뜻도
Yeah, you could
쓸
do
수
that.
있습니다.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Walter, for that.
Well, it's great to be back, and we'll see everybody again tomorrow.
Absolutely. Coming up in the second hour, we have 영작 극장 and travel and much, much more. Taking us there is David Lee Roth, Just a Gigolo, I Ain't Got Nobody.